Lindsey Graham is with us. At least he would have brought us ice cream if he had such a freezer. She's been vicious the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay, she's not at work. She's blaming President Trump for everything. She was telling people February 24th, come to Chinatown, dummy. That was a dumb idea. She was impeaching Trump when Trump put the travel ban in effect. And now she's holding money as hostage again.
Yeah, I think she's been incredibly small at a time when the country needs big leadership. You remember, she held the articles of impeachment from December the 18th to January the 15th, trying to get Mitch McConnell to bend to her will to conduct a trial that she wanted in the Senate. She held Phase 3 hostage to get money for the Kennedy Center and other stuff. Now she's trying to hold the Small Business Administration loan program that's working hostage. She's been a hostage taker rather than a problem solver. And the one thing I want to say about President Trump, the guy that I've got to know in the last 3 years, listens and he leads. He listens to Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx, and he's come up with a phased opening of the country. He listens, he leads, and Nancy Pelosi undermines and destroys. Very sad.
Have you been following Bret Baier's reporting about how the patient zero is a guy that got infected with corona from a bat? He worked in that Wuhan laboratory. Now, I had seen all the conspiracy theories that it was manufactured there. Okay, his report doesn't say that. But apparently, China banned travel in and out of Wuhan province, according to Bret. But they let people from Wuhan travel internationally and infect the rest of the world. And this is the result. Now, that would mean to me that they knowingly, consciously, assuming all this is true, as reported, that they protected themselves and screwed the rest of us with the help of the WHO that lied to us.
Yeah, all the evidence indicates that they locked their country down to protect their people, and they did not tell the world about the true state of play inside of China. Iran is the largest state sponsor of terrorism. China is the largest state sponsor of pandemics. This is the third or fourth pandemic that came out of China. This may have happened, the infection may have happened in a lab, but the evidence seems to suggest it was spread at these wet markets. What did we do to Iran, who's a bad actor? We sanctioned Iran. What should we do to the largest state sponsor of pandemics on the globe? We should sanction China to get them to change their behavior. Senator Cruz has a bill to do that.
They need to pay for this, because that means that they knew Wuhan was so dangerous you couldn't travel in or out within China. But that would mean they have blood on their hands. Because if they didn't tell the rest of the world what they were doing with Wuhan, but they let Wuhan, people travel everywhere else, they didn't give a flying rip about what they were doing to the rest of the world. They knew it was bad, and they let it happen.
If it were not for the irresponsibility of the Chinese Communist Party, there would be no pandemic in the world. Americans would be alive today, and 22 million people would be at work. China's responsible. It's time to hold them responsible. They're the largest state sponsor of pandemics in the entire globe, and they need to pay a price.
Yeah, maybe we're not going to pay back the debt they're holding. Let's start there. They pay for this. They pay for all of this. All right, Senator, thank you.
Tonight, we're at a gut check moment in our battle with the coronavirus and its impact on lives. More than 34,000 lost so far, and livelihoods. 22 million American jobs erased. President Trump tonight announcing a roadmap to rebooting the economy, unveiling guidelines that would keep schools closed, but envision returns to offices, the reopening of restaurants, theaters, churches, and gyms, all under strict conditions. But are we really there yet? Our team tackling it all tonight. First, Peter Alexander with those breaking developments from the White House. Peter, what do we know?
Good evening. The president tonight laying out his recommendations for reopening the economy. The guidelines do not provide specific dates or locations, and they acknowledge that governors have the final say on what happens in their states. President Trump tonight outlining new federal guidelines for opening up America again. The president just days after insisting he has total authority to order states what to do. This afternoon telling all 50 governors, you're going to call your own shots. The White House announcing 3 phases to guide governors' decisions. Phase 1 urging all individuals when in public to maximize physical distance from others, and saying schools that are currently closed should remain closed. Phase 2, when non-essential travel can resume and bars and schools can reopen. And Phase 3, when Americans can largely return to their lives, but should consider minimizing time spent in crowded environments. Moving between phases for each state would require evidence the number of coronavirus cases has gone down for 14 days. And White House aides insist some states may be able to reopen before May 1st. The guidance addresses the need for testing and contact tracing, but it remains unclear how many tests will be needed and will be available for governors to feel comfortable reopening their states. The president today, pressed by Democratic lawmakers on the need for dramatically more testing, pushed back. According to one Republican senator, President Trump indicated that the economy would have to be reopened before widespread testing can be available. Peter Alexander, NBC News, the White House.
This is Gabe Gutierrez. From coast to coast, from New York and Boston to Orlando, Chicago, and Los Angeles, many cities are essentially ghost towns. Today, the calls to reopen America reach their loudest yet.
I don't think that the government really has any business telling us what we can and cannot do.
This protest in Virginia followed others this week in Michigan and North Carolina.
We're peacefully assembling. We have that right.
Today, the governors of 7 Midwestern states banded together to coordinate how and when they'd reopen. Ohio says its stay-at-home order will expire on May 1st with safeguards.
The world that we're going to see is a different world. You're going to see people with masks. You're going to see people where there's a lot of sanitizers. The workplace is going to change.
Los Angeles and Washington, D.C. have already extended their stay-at-home orders until May 15th. At the nation's COVID-19 epicenter, New York's governor today did the same.
What happens after then, I don't know. We will see, depending on what the data shows.
Today, that data showed the daily death toll in New York fell for the second straight day. ICU admissions are dropping dramatically here, but the economic toll is mounting. Needy families lined up outside this Dallas food bank today. In Boston, Dr. Lakshman Swamy is worried about America reopening. His ICU is still packed.
It is